and get to see and visualize how would you paint that and create that world with lighting, so that when you get on set and all the elements are coming into play, like things like art, makeup, wardrobe, and you're adding your touch, you'd say, oh, we need color here, things like that. And then attention to detail, you being aware and immersed in the artwork that you're doing or the work you're doing at the moment helps you be, attentive to detail. You're seeing, okay, I need a bit of light at the back there. I need this. As much as you've been told, do this and do that, it always pays to add a bit more value to the work you're doing.
Gregory, it's so great to talk to you here on Zoom.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity of hosting me. I appreciate very much.
It's a great pleasure. And you are in Kenya?
Yes, I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. This is where I work. This is my base of work, though I get to travel for work from time to time. So serving neighboring communities, if it's Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, we go where work takes us, but Nairobi, Kenya is home. Yes.
Wonderful. I spoke to Suki as well, the hair and makeup artist, and he actually told me about you.
Thank you. Yeah, Suki and I go way back. We met on set, and ever since we've had a long-lasting relationship, work relationship, and just also since he does amazing things in terms of his mentorship programs. He gets to teach people about, makeup, the art of makeup. He calls me to weigh in or chime in once in a while in terms of lighting, because lighting and makeup go hand in hand in the film industry. So I appreciate him giving me a hookup to this. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And it's just for me so wonderful how you all help each other, and support also young artists and wanting to enrich everybody's lives there.
Yes. Yeah. Because the other thing, as much as most people went to school, the best mode of work is, hands-on. So I think as a film industry, it offers that, and which is really good because, you get to participate, especially also when you're creative. You have a creative mind and this creative hunger of just doing things, and also people learn on the job, which is really good. And, you find yourself, you have really committed to that. So we find those people who are interested, or they find us, and you teach them, and you find when they get to learn the art and the skill, they do commit, which is really wonderful and beautiful just to see them grow as we have grown. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also spoken to a few as African artists or from Africa. And I think it's so wonderful to highlight also the great work you're doing, because I don't think the world realizes how talented you are.
Thank you very much, Pedro. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate that.
No, I think really it's for me important to highlight the work that you're doing. And talking about highlights, this is part of your job, isn't it, in the film industry, to highlight things with lighting?
Yes, it is. As I always have a phrase which says, without light, you cannot see. So it's very important to create and just tell stories with light. For me, I found it was a very integral and important part in storytelling. And ever since I have been on this journey, it's been more of learning and unlearning different things. So it's been beautiful. I can say it's been a beautiful journey, and we haven't stopped growing. So that's the thing as we continue pushing and, growing and learning and unlearning.
Yeah, I've spoken to also a lighting designer recently, a young lighting designer, and we talked about how, its lighting is so crucial to the story, really, because, it's almost a part of the storytelling.
Yes. For me, I learned that lighting is where you make a lot of the decisions. In terms, if you want a period piece, if you want a film noir, if you're going for telenovela, comedy, action, drama, all these things, as much as there is the camera part, there is the makeup part, there is the costume part, lighting would help you paint that canvas in that someone, if they were to watch your film and you say, I'm doing a sci-fi, how do you tell your film is a science fiction? How do you tell through lighting? So yeah, it's very important.
And Gregory, how did you get into this industry? How did you get, what was the interest for you in lighting?
My story is very interesting because before I've grown up around aeroplanes. That being yes, my dad was in the aviation business, and my mom she still works in the aviation business. And growing up, I just knew like I wanted to be a pilot. And I sang that even during career days. I would be like, I'd be asked, what do you want to be? It'd be like, I want to be a pilot because, I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
But years on, after just completing high school and having now career choices, my dad expected me to follow the aviation way. But I ended up, a friend of mine called Ken Bahati, who had done journalism, he's the one who got me into journalism. He told me, Greg, with your personality, the way you are, you should be on radio or TV. So I ended up enlisting in a college which was doing 3D animation and journalism. After that, I thought like getting a job would be really quickly. But jobs didn't come because it's a very difficult place to penetrate. You really have to have, if it's not the looks, it's the voice, how you post yourself on camera. So I found it was really difficult getting into that. And then my dad's friend was the one who got me into the film industry because he had another friend who owned a company and they were doing a series called Tabasamu. So I never knew anything about film. I didn't have an interest in film. But once now I got on set, I met my first mentor, whose name is Alfred Mgendi. He's the one who held my hand and chaperoned me through the industry in terms of just being on a film set. So I was a set runner. I was doing a lot of things like, clapping the board, using the clapper board. I would help out in sound. I would help out in, lighting, in camera, as I was just trying to find myself. Later on, when I left that company, having gained all these skills in art, lighting, camera, I wanted to be a DOP after, seeing what the camera was doing. I met my other mentor, who's Walter Odhiambo. He's also a gaffer here, and Wafula, who also were teaching me in terms of lighting. And later on, I met Chris Royo, who sat me down and he was like, Greg, you're really good at a lot of things. I see you doing sound. I see you doing art. I see you doing lighting. You want to do camera. What is that one thing that you'd really want to do and you want to do it well? I was like, I want to be a DOP. So it's like, in order for you to be a director of photography and a really good one, you have to understand what lighting does. And he said, when you learn lighting, that's when you become a good director of photography. So I said, I'll commit to do lighting for 2 years. I gave myself 2 years to learn lighting and just learn what's doing so that now I leave and then I can become a first assistant director, first AC camera, and then I become a DOP. That was my dream. I was like, I'm going to be a really good DOP at it after I master lighting. But now when I got into lighting, after the 2 years, I found like most of the DOPs I had worked with only called me for lighting jobs. So they say, okay. Yes, they'll be like, you want someone for lighting? Kiwo. You want someone for lighting? Kiwo. So it was more of me trying to get out of lighting
Yeah.
to scale up and go to, camera. But
Yeah.
here I am, everyone is referring me to lighting gigs. And at some point I was frustrated. I was like, I just want to like hold the camera and tell stories. I was trying to also shoot things on the side. But my mom sat me down. She's my biggest also supporter and cheerleader. And she was like, this is maybe a sign, just like, this is what you are meant to do.
Yeah.
And I settled into it and I really became committed, like fully committed. I was like, um, I'm going to be the best lighting gaffer that is in the country, through just also learning from other people, other lighting people, research, watching YouTube videos. And that's how, like now, 10 years on, I'm still, gaffing, and I really enjoy it. And also just sharing the skill and the joy of lighting. Yeah.
Amazing. So lighting
Yeah.
found you. You didn't find lighting.
Yes, lighting found me. Yes.
How
Yeah.
amazing. And that
Yeah.
everything fell into place for you to be there. That's what I always find so fascinating when I speak to artists from different forms of art, is that
Yeah.
how you just, the right people came on your way, send you in a different, in a specific direction, and here you are. And it's also, you must be a natural with it. I mean, there must be something that you have that's, that people feel you are the one to do it.
Yes. Yes. The things which I've learned over the years, which I wish I'd learned earlier on, is anyone can light. If you teach anyone, even the people who are mentoring at the moment, I tell them anyone can light because it's more of a matter of taste. You're lighting to the eye, you're seeing what works, what doesn't. Also, you're lighting for whatever genre you're doing, whatever film or whatever work you're doing in terms of lighting it. But what comes into play is more of now you have to dig deep into your artistic side, your creative side, whereby you always add your signature to the work. And that also taps into you being one, knowing the story. I always tell my assistants and the guys who, I train, I tell them, read the script, get to see the world that the writer has written, and get to see and visualize how would you paint that and create that world with lighting, so that when you get on set and all the elements are coming into play, like things like art, makeup, wardrobe, and you're adding your touch, you'd say, oh, we need color here, things like that. And then attention to detail, you being aware and immersed in the artwork that you're doing or the work you're doing at the moment helps you be, attentive to detail. You're seeing, okay, I need a bit of light at the back there. I need this. As much as you've been told, do this and do that, it always pays to add a bit more value to the work you're doing. So that calls for you to be there. And the other thing is, the other thing I learned over the years just doing lighting is, you need to be, as much as you have the skill, the knowledge, the passion, you have to be willing to adapt, because that's the most difficult thing on set. It's you get there, things are happening, from acts of God to, things are spiraling, some things are working, some things are not working. You being able to adapt when the flow is shifting is very important, because it helps you to be able to make choices quickly on your feet. So I found I've learned that helps over the years. So these are things I teach them more of qualities of being a good gaffer, other than how to light. Because lighting, they'll get to know. Anyone can light. You show them the basics of the 3-point lighting. They grow to that, to motivation lighting. Anyone can light. But now you having those like things that you do add the qualities, those are the things that which come over time, and I enjoy sharing those. Yeah.
But that's wonderful. So you actually what I get from what you said now is that you are really serving the artwork. So you're taking the writing into consideration, you're taking the storytelling into consideration, and it's not about what you want, it's about what, you know, how you can serve the piece or the film or you know, the artwork that you're busy with. And that I find so wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think it's also in the industry, you have to prove yourself, but prove yourself within that boundary of what, you know, what the story is all about, isn't it? I mean, you can't just go out there and do some crazy work just to be seen. You have to be stay in context, really.
Yes, very true. Because you find that in terms of once the viewer gets to see the work, be it a film, a series, a movie, a music video, they never know. They never want to know, like, if you woke up, you know, feeling sick, or if you're okay. They never want to know if you were given enough budget to get to do what you had to do, the equipments you had for them. If they come to see a rom-com, they want to see those textures, that story, like, really coming out. They never want to know, like, what was in the background, because you are the people who are in the back end. You're the unseen people, and the only way you can be seen is through your work, like what you've done. And you have only one opportunity to do it. If it's 30 days, you're there for 30 days. For 30 days, you serve that purpose. You go on to the next piece of work that you're doing. And just to add to that is also just I've learned not to carry habits, which I had on another project to a new project. Let's say, for example, since I'm a proper freelancer, I get sometimes to do like just different works. I haven't like, I love film, but I'll be on a drama set one time, and then I'll be called to do maybe a rom-com. So those are two different works. So if I've come from a rom-com, I can't light a rom-com the way I lit, like I'm going to light a drum. So I have to leave those techniques or habits on the rom-com, and then when I come to the drama, I have to now reset and see how best do I, go about doing this. Yes.
But I'm just wondering now that they say that you have to do that switch. But do you notice lighting? I mean, in your everyday life, when you go about doing things, do you specifically notice how light falls on somebody's face so that you think, hey, this is interesting how the light falls? Or are you just completely switched off from that? Switch off is such a great word to use in lighting, isn't it?
No, yes, literally. So for me, over the years doing this, you find you borrow a lot whenever you even go and want to create in whatever space you're creating. I'll walk you through maybe the thought process of how we go about maybe lighting a scene. So we'll do something called a recce, whereby you go see the environment or the set you'll be using. If it's a build set or someone's house or, interior, exterior, being in that space, you look at where the sun will be at a certain time, how the light behaves in the room, where the shadows are falling. Because now when they come and we've said we want to shoot, for me personally, how I look, how I go about doing lighting, I always want to mimic the everyday, life, how shadows, form, how light behaves in a room. So you find when we began lighting, as I said, you have the 3-point technique, the 3-point lighting technique. As you could go about growing in the film industry and you doing your art, your craft, you find now you have something called motivated lighting, whereby you're lighting and you're mimicking sources that are on set. If there's a window, you want the viewer's eyes to be like, oh, the light is coming through that window. or that lamp is lighting that person. So it's very natural kind of thing. And it's more of you turning off your lights in quotes, because you don't want people to now notice lighting when they're watching a piece of work. So it's like your lights are off. So they are more immersed in the story and the piece of work, other than them noticing, oh, that there is a big light there or there's another light here. So it's more of you just getting into that. So I do see lighting in everyday places. If I go to a cafe, I look how it's lit. If I'm in a hospital, I'm like, yeah, okay, they're using more of this. I find myself maybe in a lift. So this, when someone tells me, "Oh, Greg, we are shooting in a hospital," in my head clicks like, okay, they have more fluorescent bulbs. It's really white. They never have warm light. It's more of the blue tones, the white tones. I'm like, yeah, I can surely light that. And yeah, that's you never stop seeing lighting.
Oh, yeah.
You're always seeing light in every aspect, even when taking photos, even just us doing this interview, I was like, yeah, how do I posture
You
myself?
analyze my lighting.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a total amateur, and I just I figured it out as I was going along.
Yeah.
But I spoke to a sculptor once, and I asked him if he noticed people's faces, because he's sculpting faces and portraits then, and he said yes. When he's in a meeting, he would notice somebody's ear or somebody's nose, and that made me think. Yes, I think when you are busy, when you are doing something, you automatically, without even realizing, you're noticing these things because your mind is so aware of it.
Yes.
So it's interesting that you say now that you analyze lighting all the time.
Yes. Yes.
But so now you said also you work with Suki, and do you also do then like photo shoots, to get the lighting for, say, a makeup designer? Do you do that type of thing as well?
Yes, since like the work like I get to do as a freelancer, it comes like in different packages. Sometimes I'll be on a film set, sometimes I'll be on a music video shoot, and sometimes I'll have to do photo shoots for artists, maybe for a certain show that is coming up, or sometimes it's just people doing their portfolios or for beauty. So I do get to do and work with Suki on that. And also since he has his mentorship classes whereby he teaches makeup. So when I go there, I get to show and demonstrate to the students the relativity between light and makeup. Let's say, for example, if you did your makeup on, in warm light, how it does reflect on the skin. If you'd use, like daylight or sunlight, how that affects, the final outcome of the makeup and look. So that maybe yes. So we get to, do that, and also just color. Because sometimes in film, or most of the times in film right now, we use a lot of color. So you always want to show them like, yeah, if you have like harsh tones of blues or greens, and you have a certain color palette of makeup on your actor, actress, or the subject, this is how it will come out. So they get to see those different real-time effects of, makeup and choice. And also just in terms of just lighting skin, young skin, old skin, and how also light affects that. Like, how do you flatter someone who's in a certain age group? And, if we want them look young and pop and they're popping, how does light play a part in that? So it's always interesting for us to share and just bounce off ideas when we are in certain classes and spaces. So I do enjoy that.
Love that, because, I never thought of, and it's true, the different light where you put your makeup on definitely makes a difference. And sometimes you think, okay, you do a makeup workshop or whatever, but it is so important to understand the lighting behind it. And I never thought of that. It's such a great combination to do the two workshops together, or the workshop in the two different disciplines together.
Yeah. Yes.
But also, do you do workshops on, say, or master classes on just lighting in film as well?
Yes, I do get to do master classes on lighting. I had one like last month where I had like group of students, and for as much as there's YouTube. You get to learn things online because YouTube is a whole um, directory of different videos. You can find those videos and get to learn from there. But once you get some of the things, like for me, 100% of the things I learned were on set. As much as on in class we were taught, but when you get on set, things are very it gets real. So I like doing master classes myself. Even on my Instagram handles, I just started my own Instagram or podcast kind of thing, whereby it's called Waiting on Lights, which I coined from, all the time. The first day will be, waiting on lights. How long lighting?
Oh.
So, but it is called Waiting on Lights, whereby I get to give pointers of the things I've learned over the years, weigh in on issues, matters lighting. So, and since again, I'm a product of mentorship, I do enjoy just sharing the knowledge which I've acquired over the years. I do enjoy imparting knowledge to the next generation of gaffers. There are things, yes, they would learn again online, they would learn on YouTube, they would get themselves on set. But now, since I have an hands-on experience, I do enjoy sharing these things. So far, I've done 3 master classes over the years. One was called Kipaji Lab, which was back in 2021, 2022, which lasted a whole month, by a lady called Dr. Taylor. We had students who came, they went through the class, and after that, they did 3 short films, which was amazing just seeing them use the skill that they had learned. I had another one, which was Guard Cell, which I had 25 students. Out of the 25, I still up to date work with one of them. His name is Mwasi. I got him from that class. And then just another masterclass recently with some other students again. So from these master classes, also I get to see young people who I see myself in them, because they're trying to find a way, they're trying to find their way into the industry. So they get to ask questions which I didn't get to ask myself, like how do I get to be a gaffer? How do I get to be in the film industry? How do I get to join the film industry? How do I get to be in a department like yours? What does it take? What are the qualities? What are the skills? What is the entry level to the? So I get to answer all these questions. And when I see that one person or those 2 people who are really in tune and they just want to do this, you get to hold their hand, get their foot into the industry. And from there, is, as the saying goes, once you get in, it's more of you to put in the work and grow your portfolio, your brand, create networks. So I do enjoy doing master classes. And also later on this year, I'm hoping to just plan another one, which will be, bigger and better. Because also in these classes, as I say, as much as you go to teach and share, also you get you're impacted in a way, because you get to learn in yourself. You get to learn. So I do enjoy those moments. Yeah. Yes.
And I think it's also important, like you say, that we live in this world where we see on Instagram or over on social media, people do things, but you never know the path that this person had to take to get there. So like you said, you had to do everything, and you had to sort of help everywhere and start there to be where you are now. And
Yes.
I think young people have to understand that it's not just, getting into the industry and immediately um, having made it, So
Yeah.
wonderful that you have that, give them that opportunity, and that you also spot the people who are really wanting to do it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and especially, in Kenya, the great you are all great artists there. It's great work that you are doing. Do you ever go to South
Thank you.
Africa?
I haven't gone to South Africa
Mm-mm.
because I think one day, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
inshallah, but we get to work with the people from there who come here to film.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think it's also how our industry is, because our industry is still growing. You have, like in Africa, you have the Nigerian market, which they have grown and they are where they are. You have South Africa also. They are like they are creating a lot of films, a lot of shows. They are doing a lot in terms of just the content they're putting out. And then you have us. We are growing an industry. Still, we are growing. We're still looking at how to regulate the industry in terms of the labor laws, the working hours, the payment. So we are still trying to move those pieces to get things to a place where we have like an actual industry that have rules and regulations that do work. So in terms of them just going to where they are, I think they've cracked the code of over the years, and they have a strong foundation. Their market is, I can say, is big and in some ways saturated, because you have a lot of people who are doing that. Unlike our country, whereby we are still growing, so there is that advantage of we are not so many in terms of our industry is not so saturated. So in terms of work and job opportunities, I feel here we have more work and job opportunities because we are still growing and everyone is still trying to move pieces and learn. And like now, even just going to neighboring countries who also are learning, they want your skill. If now you go to South Africa, I think just seeing how the industry is more of, now you having to find your fitting,
Oh
you
yeah,
competing with the
yeah.
locals for the job opportunities that they are there.
Mm.
And again, that is a beautiful thing because it gets to set you apart. You get also
Mm.
to understand where you stand in terms of your skill. Maybe you're just good in Kenya, but when you go out there, you cannot
Oh,
compete.
I see what you mean.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's always
Um,
interesting. So like been to Ethiopia next door, the industry is growing. Uganda, Rwanda, the film the industry is like they're still growing.
mm.
So it's always interesting to be in their space as they are in our space. So yeah,
I think it makes it unique, because
yeah,
it's unique to where you are
yeah,
and your environment. But
yes.
Gregory, tell me, what are the wishes for you for the future?
The wishes for me for the future.
Yeah,
I think since I'm living in the present, I'm in the now.
yeah.
That's always my approach in terms of how I approach things. Um, where I am now, um, I say I'm happy
Mm.
because I put in the work. I'm learning, and it's a beautiful time to be where we are at the moment. Because one thing is with technology where it is, um, things have grown, our lights have changed, the skill is changing. So one is technology. Two is in terms of just how when we started, like YouTube was a bit smaller. Now the footprint is bigger. So people are creating their content and putting it there. So it's an exciting time to see where things are. And I'm happy about that. For the future, I'm always hoping for our industry to, again, one, get a bit more regulations in place. I'm hoping that we do grow. Um, as our industry. I'm hoping to see more gaffers, more people joining the lighting community and learning this skill. Uh, and being immersed in storytelling, and again, just in storytelling is for our country or our industry. I would love us to tell more of our stories,
Oh,
as much
yes.
as we have been influenced by the stories we grew up watching, the things and the content we grew up watching. I would love to see just us reeling in things and seeing if we can tell our own stories. Those we have things like folk tales, which there are fire stories. There are those ground fire stories that we used to be told by our grandparents. Those are
Yeah.
stories which would be interesting to see them being done. The myths we have, like in our different communities, those I think are stories which are unique to us, and I would love to see those being told out there. I'd love to hear the Kenyan voice out there in the international market. So
Yes.
that would be something I do see. For now, I think I'm very happy just to be alive, to be here, in being blessed and abundant, and doing what I'm doing, sharing and meeting different people and seeing the world through film. I love that a lot. So yeah, so in future, we pray for a better future, but now is when we make that future. So we are
Exactly.
putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But amazing.
yeah,
And I so put the wish out with you that more stories would be told from Kenya, from Africa, because I think it's
yes,
like Suki and I talked about it. There's such a great artistic heritage in Africa. The people are so creative. It's within them. If you look at the beadwork, if you look at the colors of Africa, if you look at everything the people are doing, then
yeah,
we have to hear these stories.
yes.
It's such a beautiful continent with beautiful stories. So I'm putting the wish there out with you.
Yes,
I also
thank you.
have another wish. I want to come to Kenya because Suki has to do my makeup, so maybe you can do the lighting.
Yes, definitely. You're welcome here. It's a beautiful place to be. Would look
Mm.
forward to seeing you. I love what you're doing. I got a chance to see what you're doing in terms of even you being far away, just connecting our industry as a whole through the storytelling you're doing. It's you adding a voice to those people who are either known or unknown. And people are telling their stories as I am telling my story on your platform.
Yes,
So it's really beautiful. I appreciate that and
it's a
making us seen. Yes,
it's
and
a
heard.
great pleasure,
Yeah,
and I will keep on doing it because, like I say, I want to highlight the work in Africa. I think it's yeah, that's something that I would love to do. But Gregory, thank you so much for
yeah.
your time.
Thank you for
It's
having
so
me.
great to talk to you, and
Thank
we
you.
will meet in person one day soon, I hope.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me, Petra.
It's a
Yeah,
great
be
pleasure.
blessed. Be blessed very much. Thank you.